news. Hello there, everybody. I am What Culture Wrestling's Adam Cleary, joined by, I can't quite see from here, I think it's Adam Nicholas, and welcome to the After News, so-called, because A, it's after the first news, but also we record it in the afternoon, hence why I might have soup all over my face I didn't think to check. Coming up for you today, we have
WWE going big time for their first show on Fox.
There's an update on the want-away missing man, Leo Rush.
And the latest Raw viewership analysis is in, and it's not looking good.
But first, we have some exciting news on the future of AEW's weekly televised product. Now, despite the fact I've done every single AEW video and referred to it as Tuesday Night Dynamite for the better part of 3 months now, Wednesday Night Dynamite has what looks to be an official launch date. And wouldn't you just know it, it's the same week SmackDown moved to Fox. 2nd of October, get that date in your diaries for the first installment of AEW's weekly televised product. And that is, as I say, it's also quite important because that's when SmackDown goes to Fox, which is another big television bit of news.
The Wednesday night
Dynamite. I'm going to have to get out of calling it
the Wednesday Night War, but it's not because SmackDown's on the Friday, isn't it?
Yes, it's Monday. It's sort of like the off-day war in wrestling. Do you think this is deliberate? Because they must have known the date of...
It couldn't possibly be. Who would do such a thing in such a climate like this?
I mean, your cynicism is one thing, but I mean, they are the smaller company.
True, it's true.
So to go immediately up against the biggest week in SmackDown history for years and years and years, you imagine, seems...
But to go first?
To go first, yes, but it's
surely.
I should point out, this is all reported by Dave Meltzer in the Wrestling Observer. He says they have set on that date now of the 2nd of October, and I can't get that idea out of my head that, yes, you go first, but it's also the week all those eyes will be on SmackDown. Everything you do on that first show could get forgotten about. And we'll hear a little bit about why that could be the case when we get on your SmackDown story, but it just seems a bit...
It's dangerous, isn't it? It's either going to pay off really well for them, or it could end up shooting themselves in the foot with this one, because we don't really know what we're going to be getting. We've had great AEW pay-per-views. Don't know why I suddenly thought I got that wrong there. AEW pay-per-views, they've been fantastic so far. There's only been a couple, but they've delivered. Will the show on Wednesday night?
Well, I should stress this is yet to be officially confirmed by AEW themselves. There is talk they might do a press conference about it in the coming weeks, or they might even use this weekend's Fyter Fest to make the announcement. Oh, that's not technically their event. It'll be a bit weird. Are you excited about that?
I am. I think Fyter Fest is going to be good. If you've looked at the card, it's like quietly gone about its business, and they've put together this like really good card. I think a lot of people aren't taking it as seriously because obviously it's kind of attached to the Gaming Festival, CEO, however it is, and I just think it's going to be a quietly banging pay-per-view. I really do.
I've got to be honest, John Moxley versus Joey Janela has...
Come on.
Like, for reasons I can't... If you'd asked me when he left, name 20 people you want to see him wrestle. I don't think he'd been in the top 50, Joey Janela, but now that I have it, I'm like,
they're going to combine those two forces.
Yes, exactly that.
You could say they've gone big league for that.
They're going to say it all in there for a second. But we'll get on that. One last thing I should point out. Get that in your diaries. The 2nd of October, 4th of October for SmackDown. That would be one of the biggest weeks in wrestling history, certainly in North America, ever, and I can't wait. Anyway, this isn't a big league.
Big league, yes, we're talking of October 4th. Obviously, we've mentioned that SmackDown will be debuting on Fox then, the new version of SmackDown on Friday nights. So what apparently the crack is here is that Dave Meltzer is reporting that WWE are set to go big time, or should I say big league, when it comes to their presentation of SmackDown. Big league.
What does that mean?
Big league.
We shouldn't do this in the afternoon.
Billions and billions of big leagues. Anyway.
What's big league mean?
Big league. They're going to take it to the big leagues. Basically, Dave Meltzer says they're going to pull out all the stops to impress with this first show. Obviously, I guess now very aware that they are colliding with this AEW launch. They're going to be bringing in celebrities by all accounts, special guests coming through every little orifice that WWE have got. They're going to be bringing these celebrities in. They're also going to be trying out, apparently, as we maybe for the next couple of weeks, new cameras, new camera angles, a new actual style of presentation. All of this, I guess, is down to maybe Fox wanting to present a superior product. But I do have a little bit of a quote here from your boy Dave Meltzer, who says they want to kick it off with a bang, like it's the equivalent of a big boxing match, and the place for the real stars to be out. So obviously, Vince McMahon has always had this mentality. He's always wanted to put across they are the big leagues, they are the best brand, they are the top of everything, and everything they do is times 10, and it's this dreamy thing. Think about WrestleMania, huge spectacle. That's the thing they aim for. Adam Cleary, what do you think of this? And is is this going to work against AEW?
I will say that obviously with the Bischoff-Heyman news yesterday, I did go back and watch, I think it was Kenny from Inside the Ropes. He did a really good bit with Bischoff, and he's talking about how...
Oh, I did watch this myself, actually,
you need to, you really need to differentiate these things. They need to look different. They need to be visually different. The closer they get together, the more pointless having a brand split is. So I guess this kind of ties in with that very nicely. If SmackDown's going to have a different feel, a different look, if they're going to go all out to separate it from Raw, which is probably always going to be the big brand, the flagship show. It's exciting. Like any positivity you can take from WWE at the moment is a great bit of news, because it does feel like a lot of the problems are starting to bottom out. They've made these appointments with Heyman and Bischoff. We know that Fox are going to want to do all kinds of. There's talk about treating it as a legitimate sport, and any new news we get about how they're going to present the product to us come October is to be greatly received. And I don't know how I feel about the term big league, because WWE has a bit of a problem with considering themselves the big league and then just forgetting to actually do big league things as a result. But
it's almost like they've had no competition for
it's almost like they've had no competition for too long. Hopefully this gives us the big league product that they think
it
is. Big league. How many times? Big league. I don't think we bothered when you're editing this, but if you want to put a big league counter at the bottom, that would be...
Oh, that might be an interesting idea. I will take that note on board.
Oh, it is Friday though, and it is really nice outside. Right, speaking of ignoring it, that'll do.
Seamless.
Not seen on WWE programming since we tried to work this out before, roughly WrestleMania, possibly one or two of the shows after. Lio Rush has not been spotted despite having, you got to say, a fairly good couple of months leading into his disappearance. There has been an update on his status. Apparently there was talk, if you remember a while ago, of him being offered a new contract. I think a 5-year deal at $300,000 a year. I would go down to that. I would quite happily...
We have to step down to something, I guess.
I would quite happily go down to that, especially with the exchange rate being as it is. Apparently there is no talk whatsoever. I'll read you the Dave quote because it's quite good. Although he's still under contract, Leo has removed all references to the promotion from his social media accounts and added an address that other promoters can use to contact him for dates, though he'll obviously need to get released before that can happen. At this stage, he's getting the same treatment as Sasha Banks and Luke Harper, and it's hard to see WWE reneging, top 5 favourite word that by the way, on this stance, which is a real shame when you think about it, because he's clearly very talented. It was an excellent addition to Bobby Lashley's gimmick. He made you interested in that, which nobody was up until he started.
He brought, even though obviously even Lashley himself, I still think, wasn't interested at the time, but Lio Rush made those segments. He made you want to watch. He got Adam Wilborn.
I was going to say, I feel terrible now.
Still does the catch. We should have had him in really to try and shout out loud. But Adam Wilborn has said Lio Rush's catchphrases. He still says them today.
Hate the girls. Something like that, isn't it?
What Lio Rush
Something like
was, but you totally rattled us with
that. Piece of gold.
Piece of gold.
Piece of gold.
Piece of gold.
Don't know why he's like a 18th century
because
prospector all of a sudden.
Cowboy, you see, you tied the
piece of gold,
piece of gold,
24 piece of gold. Anyway, he's not going to be 24 piece of anything on WWE television anywhere in the near future, which is, I have to say, again, it's a shame because he's clearly talented. He's a great orator. I think we saw... Who was it they put him in the ring with?
Well, if anybody who watches 205 Live, on top of the stuff he's done, was it Balor he had a match with?
Balor, on Raw, and he was excellent.
Lio Rush is a quality wrestler. This is the thing that a lot of the people probably on WWE know, because they don't get to see that on WWE television. He's just been there as a mouthpiece for Lashley. But he was on, back when he first joined them, he was on NXT, and he's obviously been on 205 Live. He's unbelievable.
There was talk about getting some backstage heat initially with some social media comments, and then some talk about all of this when he spoke out against the company. But I have to say, we were at Wale Mania at WrestleMania this year, and he had a bit on stage, a good, I think, 10-15 minutes, just talking about, how he didn't talk about himself or the company or get into any of the personal stuff. He talked about what a big weekend it was, how awesome it was to see Kofi in the main event and things like that. I've got to say, he came off as one of the most genuine, charming, interesting, pleasant men I've ever seen in a wrestling context. So, fingers crossed, either they resolve it with the company or he gets his release and he can go do something with his undoubted creative genius.
Absolutely. Well, he probably is hoping right about now that he does get released, because if you look at the numbers from the latest Raw, my goodness me, they do not make for good reading. As we've said, Dave Meltzer has been at it again. He's been doing some analysis about Raw's viewership numbers, and I have a quotation from him here, which is... It's interesting.
Damning, isn't it?
There's a lot of numbers, and none of them are in the positive column. So let me just go through it here. Overall views for Raw were down 19% year to year. 18 to 49 males were down 19%. 18 to 49 women were down 24%.
That's a fifth and a quarter. Nearly.
And we're not even nearly at the good numbers here.
Oh, God.
12 to 34 women were down by 30%. 12 to 34 men were down by 27%. And thank goodness, The over 50s were only down by 13%.
Oh, well, there's Hamflet keeping the game alive, isn't he?
Like Hamflet, who's sticking in there.
You would definitely think 12 to mid-30s. That is the wrestling fan, isn't it?
That's absolutely, probably are. I would imagine ours is maybe a little bit smaller than that.
Yeah.
But it's a demographic that's right there, and it is taking a big hit.
If you smooth all out, that probably comes out at about a fifth of the entire television audience.
As Dave puts it here in cheeky little way. So it's the over 50 audience that is keeping the overall numbers from an even more serious collapse. It's not good.
And you see, we sit there going, Vince needs to get off creative. Yeah. He is the target demographic. Mm-hmm. Who better to speak for what the audience want than a member of the actual audience himself?
Good Lord.
That is terrifying. Yeah. I mean, Wilborn did a news video at the start of the week where he told me that 3,500 was the live attendance for Raw, and I've been tweeted since being told it was 2,500 for SmackDown, which now, genuinely, we've done WCPW shows at the same capacity as that SmackDown.
It's true.
And we are not a $1 billion we're not quite a $1 billion company. We certainly weren't back then. That is absolutely startling, which I do think that has got to be the catalyst for a lot of these changes we're hearing. Absolutely. Like, Fox want to go big time. They've appointed Heyman and Bischoff. Like, you can be as stubborn as you want. You can be as stubborn as we've heard Vince McMahon is, but presented with the facts, like, look at the ratings these matches are getting. Look at the audience. Look at the live crowd. Look at the public perception of everything. It's not just, it'll come round. It's been over a year.
I think it's reached the point now where, because they have, WWE's, the markets have been, seemed like they're going upwards for a while now. We've reached the point, though, where it's finally like, here's the quantitative data that says, this is not good. This is really, really bad. And basically, Vince McMahon has no choice now. And especially with Fox on the case, wanting to solve these problems.
The thing is, people always fall back on the defense. And we have as well. Like, all these criticisms are valid and they're relevant, but they're kind of pointless because the company still makes money hand over fist and billions. And like they're more financially competent than they've been in years and years. But that comes off the back of success they've had. It comes off the back of getting good attendances. And it's like, if this keeps up, sooner or later, even that will go, and they must realise that they are on the precipice of a very, very dangerous period.
With a year of bad viewership, well, obviously it's more than that, but with that kind of numbers, but if they're the numbers people are looking back in the immediate history, you're like, well, that's not good reading at all. The thing is, we discussed this, I discussed this with Michael Hamflet, where basically the whole of the product, I would say, arguably, on the network is fantastic.
Yeah.
The thing that's the issue is Raw and SmackDown. Yeah. They've obviously addressed that. They've got Heyman, they've got Bischoff. I guess we'll have to wait and see whether that's going to actually make a difference.
If you purely just watch the network, 205 Live, in-ring is excellent. NXT is absolutely... People don't focus on the TV so much, but the stories leading into the takeovers are excellent.
And the takeovers themselves?
All the specials they produce.
Yeah, the specials and the documentaries for me is where they get incredible. My money. I'd pay more to watch all of them.
And the pay-per-views themselves are hit and miss. Yeah. Like, Stomping Ground got a bit of a bad rep, but there's still 2 or 3 excellent matches on that because the talent they have, when you take sort of the TV writers out of the equation entirely, the product they've got is fantastic. So
it's there for the
so there you go. That's there's your proof, Vince, if you're watching, and we know
you are.
You are. We didn't do any Twitter questions or anything like that. Do you want anything on your mind?
Do you want to ask me a question? Go on. You ask me one, I'll ask you one.
How the beard maintenance? Because he was combing his beard on the way in.
It is.
Is it a lot? Because I know Phil spends a lot of time.
I tell you what it is, it's a lot more than I want it to be.
Really?
It is. And it's noticeable when it's shorter, that if you just, you go in the shower, have a quick wash. It doesn't take so long to dry. This is a hairdryer job, this that. It's matted in there, man. You don't get that out. It gets clean, though. It looks lovely. Just takes a while to maintain, you can't... Stray hairs all over
I know
the
to trim mine when it starts retaining. When I get out of the shower and it's still wet, I'm like, that needs to retains water. It's got to go. Yeah.
So in terms of that, and we were just having we made a little video yesterday. We were out on the quayside. And my question to you is, how do you manage to deal with the fact that, like, within 5 to 10 minutes, we had this perfect, can we see this?
Yeah, probably.
Get it? Look at this.
Without 45 minutes.
Crab stick looking man. That is, I mean, I'm not going to talk, but it was staggering. How do you handle it?
It's difficult. I tend to get very arrogant about it and just forget that I burn that quickly, but Scottish DNA means
it is.
So much is, I'm worse than Wilborn. And he's ginger.
That's taken. Yeah, it is.
Go outside in the sun and...
What's the matter with that, like?
You're not ginger.
I know.
You get a little bit, tufty, but that's
a little bit.
Yeah, I've got to be very, very, very. If everybody never see me in a t-shirt, there's that and some other contributing factors.
Well, here's an idea though for the future, because this is probably going to become a bit more of a regular thing because the news has been doing quite well.
There's been so much
news as well. Basically, we can't handle it all.
It just doesn't stop.
So, in the same vein that our good and much better colleagues.
Not seamless though. I've watched their stuff. It's not seamlessly linked like we are.
I watched and filmed the first episode. I remember it. Send us your questions as well in a similar fashion, and we'll be sure to answer them the next time we are here, which could be next week. It could be next year.
I think you say tomorrow. That's
definitely not going to be tomorrow.
You can get you at.
You can find me at It's Adam Nicholas on Twitter.
At Adam Cleary, CLERY. We can't have this as the news as the hashtag. Well, confusing. What about this? Is also the news. This is also the news.
This is also the news.
Oh, good after news.
Good afternoon.
Hashtag good after news. And
it's nice when people see the process. I like this. We don't want to hit you with some sort of really well-produced thing.
No.
We want you to show you the transparency.
Pulling the curtain back.
Pull the curtain back.
But yeah, anyway, in the meantime, that is the good after news. Hashtag good after news. Let us know what you made of it all in the comments below. And of course, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We've already told you our Twitter handles. Just rewind the video. But in the meantime, at What Culture WWE.
Boom, there you go.
So thanks for watching, and we will see you real soon.
Bye-bye now.
But not tomorrow.